Hello, Sagittarius. Here's your reading for the month of April. These are general. Take what works, and what doesn't work just doesn't work. But let's see what the cards have to say for you. Jesse's moaning in the background. I think I just woke him up. Anyway. First up, we have the Four of Wands. Then we have the Knight of Pentacles. Then you have the Seven of Swords. Your challenge for the month is the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. And you got two recommendations. So you have the Ace of Cups and the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, so I think you have something that you've been celebrating. This card indicates to me that you've actually hit some type of personal milestone. Now, this could have been a goal that you've achieved or something you've been working for or working towards, and you actually gained some type of success. So you had something recently that you've been kind of celebrating. Either you leveled up in some kind of way, or it could be even something small, but you've done something and achieved something where you can kind of celebrate and you can kind of be proud of it. And there was cause for just enjoying the moment. But now, or within the mid-month, you're going to be going through this Knight of Pentacles energy. And he's very, very sure-footed. Like, he's a hard worker. He's my guy of the daily grind. I feel like whatever you're doing, you're going to be kind of grinding it out. I always see him as doing the tasks that are not always fun and exciting. You know, it's kind of like, okay, I got to do this again. But he's very diligent, and he sees the bigger picture, and he's actually doing what he needs to diligently to achieve the goal of the long run. So of all the knights, he's probably, I don't see him as the most fun knight, but he's the most practical knight, and he's the one that's actually really going to get to where he needs to go. Eventually, it takes time. It's very slow moving energy, but it's kind of like that daily grind. You know, every day you do a little bit to eventually build upon something larger. So I definitely think this is very positive, although it might feel a little stale. It might feel a little boring. It might be a little lame. It's like, oh, I got to show up, do this again. But it's definitely, you're building upon something larger. And it's slower going. It's not as exciting as some of the nights. It's not as passionate, but it's really what you need to do to actually attain something. Because not everything we can do is always fun and exciting. You know, sometimes it gets boring. But I definitely think you're working towards something, and that's fantastic. But by the end of the month, you have the Seven of Swords coming in for you. Now, I think this could be a card of lying and deceit, but I always see it really as a card of strategy. So I wonder if through this Knight of Pentacles energy, if it starts to get a little stale or a little repetitive, I'm wondering if by the end of the month, you're going to actually find a better way to do something. Now, this could be whatever aspects this represents in your life, but you might be able to kind of streamline something a little bit more strategically. So I feel like you're going to be having that kind of idea, especially coming from the Knight of Pentacles, that, you know, maybe you don't want to keep having to do the same tasks every day or every week, that they might be a little bit time consuming, or there might actually be a better way to help you achieve what you need to do. So I feel like you're going to be in that zone of like, okay, how can I simplify? How can I kind of make this go a little quicker? How can I strategize effectively to push this along and maybe make certain tasks a little easier for yourself? So I definitely think that's really positive. But your challenge for the month is the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. Now, this is indicating there may be a problem with work-life balance. Now, when she's in the upright, she's very nurturing. She's very, I always see her as having everything down really well. Like, she's a hard worker, she works, but she also has a great home life, and everything's in balance, and she's able to be there and do everything for everybody, but she makes it so flawless and easy. She's able to just be in this energy where it's just, she can switch gears when she needs to and allocate the time that needs to be for everything and just gets it done super easy. But in the reverse, this could indicate that you need time for more self-care, but this also, because this is your challenging position, I really think that for some of you, you might be having a little bit of a work-life balance issue. Now, work could indicate actual your job, or it could indicate, let's say, school or anything that you're doing. It could be a hobby that's kind of sucking up a lot of your time. It could be something with your house. Maybe you're redoing something with the house or your car. You need to fix something with the car and it's taking a little longer, or, you could be a hands-on person, a do-it-yourself kind of person. So it could be anything that you kind of consider work. It doesn't necessarily have to mean job. It could just, work could be anything, so anything that is a little bit time consuming and maybe repetitive. I think you're going to be experiencing a little bit of this, this work-life balance problem a little bit. But what's recommended for you with the Ace of Cups here and the Queen of Pentacles, I really feel like this is saying that you have to kind of keep your heart open, because I feel like whatever this is, I think you came off of some type of celebration, and I wonder if that leveled you up to some degree. Maybe you got some type of promotion, or maybe you've achieved some kind of skill or some knowledge or capabilities, and now this is pushing you a little bit more forward with whatever this represents, and now you're kind of getting involved in like the daily kind of mundane, boring tasks of it, but these are important tasks. But by the end of the month, you're going to be streamlining, but it could be sucking up a lot of your time. But I think this is saying sometimes this Knight of Pentacles, for me at least, because he represents that daily grind, sometimes it gets really boring and you start questioning, why am I doing this? Because this really sucks. I don't feel like doing this. Like, you want the end goal. You know what the end game is, but sometimes the steps, the hard work to get there really suck. They're repetitive, it's annoying, it's just like, I don't feel like doing this. You get bored. But the Ace of Cups is here saying, keep an open heart to it. Try to remember why you're doing this, and kind of keep faith in a sense, but keep that like open heart. And I feel like your intuition is probably telling you that there might be a better way to streamline something or do something a little differently. But so just keep your heart open to this situation. And the Queen of Pentacles, now, this is kind of telling me that I really feel like you're going to be able to somehow balance this a little bit better, because she's being recommended for you and she's in the upright in this position. And considering you got her in the reverse in your challenging, I think this is saying that there are ways that you could potentially like structure this or streamline something a little bit more effectively, where you're still working towards your goal and you're still doing what you need to do to obtain that, but there's a better way to go about it, or something that's going to give you more balance. So I think that's really, really positive. But let's see what else we get for you guys. Okay, first up, you have Spider Spirit, make your dreams real. So I definitely feel for some of you, whatever you are working towards is something, maybe it's a larger goal you have, something it's going to take some time to really become reality, but you're working towards it. And I think that's really fantastic. But I think this is saying, especially because you have the Eight of Cups here, is when things get a little bit boring and it's a little bit stale, it's like dried toast, very dry toast. Stale, dry toast. You have to remind yourself why you started it in the first place. You have to remind yourself that, you know what, there's something that you want. Your heart desires something. There's a dream you have. And sometimes you need to go through the trenches a little bit to get to that dream. And I feel like you definitely have options and ways to kind of make things work a little bit more effectively for you, so you can still stay on task, stay diligent, and, be more organized or effective with it or streamlined with it. So, and you know what, if you think about it, see the spider here, this is his web of death, okay? He's dreamed that he's going to create a piece of art that will entrap little bugs, and then he can suck their blood. So this is his web of death. This is his dream. And the way he designs his little web of death is the way he has this concept of how it is. I've always wondered, do you think spiders, because I've seen some really beautiful webs, but then I've seen some webs that look like a hot mess. So do you think spiders judge other spiders' webs? Like, do you think they see something and be like, oh, look at Tom down the street. Could you believe what he did? That's the best he got. What's wrong with him? Is it, I wonder if they have like, okay, is it like abstract web making, or if it's traditional web making, if they have like different, if they have different categories and classes for all this like web design, because some spiders are not really great at it, but they're getting right to the point. They just know that they're going to make it, get the bugs, and then have to remake it if it rains or if it gets damaged or whatever. But anyway, some spiders take like a lot of pride in creating their web of death. So I think you just have to remember, and if you think about it, each time the spider makes like one of these like little like web thingies here, he's making a move. So in a way, he has to figure it out, and he has to kind of work through how he's going to create this and the structure and everything. So I think that with the Knight of Pentacles, this is you trying to figure out potentially some of the baseline structures with whatever this is. And when you figure out the baseline structure, sometimes it's much easier now to build upon it because you already have the foundation. So for some of you, especially because you had something to celebrate in the past. So some of you might have had some type of level up, and now you're kind of figuring out the new structure. Because anytime you do something and you gain you come to completion with it, you've already mastered everything. But then once you finished it, now you're on to the next thing. So now you're at the beginning in a sense again. So for some of you, you might be a little bit in that beginning phase of whatever this represents, and you just need to figure out the details. But once you figure out those details, it becomes easier. And I definitely think that there is balance available, and I think you're going to be very good at it. But you just need to try and figure out the best way to streamline something. So there we go. Now, Black Kyanite, set strong boundaries. Now, some of you might need to be setting boundaries with yourself or other people or whatever it is. It could just be that some of you, it might even be that you might be getting a little frustrated with the Knight of Pentacles, but you need to remind yourself why you're doing this. And this would be the Ace of Cups. So you might have to set those boundaries with yourself to not give up. Because sometimes with the Knight of Pentacles, because I often get him, and he's my daily grind kind of guy. He's not really fancy. He's slow moving. Things kind of go slow. It's a little frustrating. There's no glitz in the glam, But he moves slowly, but he's very diligent. Like, he does it, and he knows eventually things are going to get better, but he might be in the little trenches right now where it's like, oh, this really sucks. I don't feel like doing this crap again, but you have to. So I think you might actually be having to set boundaries with whatever this represents, and even boundaries with yourself. For some of you, if this is a side project, like a side hustle, you might have to really be very diligent and organized. So it could be that you have to set certain times where you're going to work on it from time A to time B, and then that's it. So it's not so overtaking all your family time or your personal time, because you don't want to wear yourself out either. So it's tricky. Each person is different, and you're going to know what's the best for you. Always trust yourself. Now, next you got I like you. Someone likes you. Romance is blooming. Fun flirting. Want to date. Now, this could be like a love thing for some of you. Some of you, this could represent kind of love. But I think that whatever you're doing, I think with this Knight of Pentacles, I wonder if you're a little bit in the dating phase of it. You're not, maybe you're committed to it, but you're still kind of learning about it. Because sometimes when you're dating, you're learning about the person. So you might be dating this aspect or whatever this represents in a sense. You might be learning more about it, trying to see if you really like it. But I think whatever this is, it is blooming for you, although you might find some frustrations here and there. I think it's something that you're actually going to enjoy, because you have the Ace of Cups, and this is kind of the open heart. So I think it's something that you definitely want to keep with, but I think there's a better way around it, So I think that's really positive. And true love, this is a romance of a lifetime. So I think whatever this is, this could represent a person for some of you. It could represent something that you want to invest in. It could be very, very good for you. But it also could be a situation, like a job or a hobby or whatever, that is really going to bring you a lot of fulfillment. Maybe you've been looking for something to do to kind of make you, I don't want to say make you feel whole, but kind of fulfill you or make you happy. And maybe you've kind of come across this thing, and now you're in the process trying to figure it out and implement it, and it takes time. So, but I think whatever this is, I think it's really, really positive, although sometimes you might feel, get a little frustrated. It could be like with anything. Like if you're learning yoga, you see people on YouTube or wherever, and these people, they do all this yoga stuff, right? And they're so good at it. But once you do it yourself, if you're new at it, it takes time. You don't just like, okay, I'm going to get the mat, I'm going to start this, and I'm going to be a professional within a week. No, it takes many years. It takes a lot of learning. It takes like figuring out the skill set. Everybody has a different kind of skill set. Some people are a little more flexible than others, so it takes learning yourself as well. So, and within that learning, it could get frustrating. So I think this is just saying, although you might find this very beneficial, it might be rewarding to you, there are, with anything that you do, hobbies, anything, there's always some type of frustration. There's always a little staleness. There could be plateaus you might be hitting. But I think this is something worth continuing on with. And now you have, once you stop chasing the wrong things, the right ones catch you. So I definitely think this is saying that whatever this is, kind of keep moving towards it, even if it has moments of like, oh, I don't want to do this again, or I don't feel like doing this today. Continue on, because I think whatever this is, it's kind of better for you. So I think this is saying, commit to this situation and remember why you're committing to it, because you don't want to just like get bored and now do something else where this was actually better for you. Now, if this is better for you, you're going to know. So you're going to know if that resonates with you, but that's really good. Today I will forgive. Today I will forgive any past mistakes I have made and love myself unconditionally. And I feel like for some of you, I really think that's going with this Knight of Pentacles, because you might be getting a little frustrated. You might be feeling a little worn out, especially with the Queen of Pentacles in reverse. You might be feeling like you're burning the candle at both ends, or you just don't have enough personal time, or it's just things are just out of balance. But I think sometimes within that, we do have these moments. Nobody's is perfect all the time. But I think you have to just like accept that right now you might be in a learning phase with this, and you are going to get better, and you're going to start streamlining it, and there's better ways to streamline it. But don't get down on yourself for that. Don't get down on yourself if you are taking a little bit longer to figure something out or work on something. Don't put that as a negative towards yourself, because everything in its own good time. So... okay, and let's see what Bob Ross has to say for you. Jesse, he's like, I think I woke him up again. He's making noise in the background. You have to allow the paint to break to make it beautiful. Now, this is saying when you have that, like that paint holder thingy, you have to dip your brush into the paint. If you don't ever dip the brush into the paint, you'll never get the paint on the brush and onto the canvas. So sometimes you have to just take that chance, and you have to play around with it. So if you dip the brush in the paint and you're not a professional painter, you might put too much on the canvas, you might put it on the wrong way, but you don't really know until you try. And I feel like the Knight of Pentacles is that trying aspect. Like he's actually doing it. You know, he's kind of in that flow of like, okay, I gotta do this again. So... but the Seven of Swords here is that kind of like sneakiness. It's the strategy. It's willing to come at things a little different. It's kind of like, okay, I'm going to try this now type of thing. So this is your idea of, okay, I've been trying to paint this canvas some kind of way, but let me now try to do it a different type of way, or let me figure out if there's a better way to do this. But Bob Ross is saying that you just have to try, be brave, just try it out, see how it goes, and you're going to figure out along the way. And let's see what spirit of the dish we get for you. You have the Berg, which is the spirit of the burger. Now, for your dinner and a movie, you have thriller movies and Chinese food. For the energies that you either need to be aware of or tap into, you have Leo, and this is all about ego, individuality, and confidence. And you have Cancer, which is about emotions and habits. You have the Moon here, which is also about emotions and habits. And then you have Venus here, which is about love, money, and powers of attraction. You have 2 10th houses, which represents social status, career, and your aspirations. And you have the number 3 here, which is an odd number. So that means the special guest that will be answering your questions today, Sagittarius, will be the Magic 8 Ball. So think of those questions. He'll be out here shortly. We have TRSFVOAR 967. And we have hope. And I think this is saying that sometimes when you're in this Knight of Pentacles energy and you're like, because it's slow moving. So in a sense, sometimes it's got a little bit feels like slow progress as well. You just have to stay hopeful. You have to just remember why you're doing this and just keep like having the faith and have hope that everything's going to be okay and kind of turn out well. Okay, so let's see what little charmy we get for you. Oh, you have the little magic wand. So this is saying that, okay, hold on a second here. Now, with the magic wand, how the magic wands work, I know you guys all know, but I'll just in case. You got to wave it around, right? And then it like magic happens. And then what you tell the wand you want is going to come to you. So this is saying that you need to be your own little magic wand. So you have to kind of wave yourself around in a sense by doing the actions that you want to attract to you. So if there's a certain career you want, if there's a certain hobby you want to excel at, you need to do it. Like if you want to be really great at the resin, you know, those resin dishes or whatever they do amazing things with this resin or woodworking or whatever it is, yoga, whatever it is, you have to actually do it. You have to go into that field. You have to start learning about this. You have to actually start participating to get what you want to come to you. So you have to put the action in. So that's how I think this is saying that you're going to get what you want, especially because you have the Knight of Pentacles here, but you need to continue to put that action in. But there's maybe a better way to go about it. There's a little bit more streamlined way, and you're going to figure it out. Life is one big troubleshooting experience. We're always trying to figure something out. And once we figure one thing out, we got something else we have to figure out. That's how it goes. It never ends. Your learning never ends over here. Okay, now it is time. Here he is. Okay, Sagittarius, think of those questions and we're going to ask. Oh, mystical, magical 8-ball, the mightiest ball of all the balls in the world. What is the answer to Sagittarius's question? It says, it is certain. There you go. The 8-ball has spoken. I hope you all have a wonderful month and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.